a truly cinematic spectacle unlike anything that had been created out of the Indian film industry before. Brahmastra would be a truly pioneering and groundbreaking film, a film that our country would feel proud of.
Hi, my name is Jaker. I'm the VFX supervisor from DNEG.
Hi, my name is Viral Thakkar and I'm a creative director and a visual effects supervisor at Redefine, and together we are happy to be a part of India's VFX revolution.
It was one of the most complex sets because it had like thousands and thousands of trees.
SRK, shoots up in the sky, he breaks the ceiling, goes up in the sky. His Astra, and there's an extreme wide shot of the entire Delhi city skyline. All of that was completely created in CGI.
I think we are going to see much more of what we have seen, and plus a lot more, I would say. So when this whole project of Brahmastra actually came, it was my first meeting with AYAN at the DNEG office, and he had come with this folder called Designs for Brahmastra. I said that should be an easy one to just browse through. We opened the folder and there were literally thousands of designs for the Brahmastra logo itself. Guys, we had worked on some of these designs, those thousands of designs, and now we have to finalize the one. And that was the first task. And that's how it all started. And this is about 2016 we're talking about. So one of the early conversations with him was, this is a very different kind of a film that he was making, and then we would basically, kind of really discuss with him that we cannot really go onto a set and then design the shot. We have to really finish our entire designing of the shot at the table, pre-visualize it. That is one thing that we really spoke with AYAN, and then I think he took it in the right stride. Not designing the shots on set, because good visual effects shots cannot be designed on set. They have to be designed before going on shoot.
Ranbir and Alia, even they, they've matured during the course of production. So the way they looked and performed in the first half versus the second half, which was shot later, they had to keep up with that. And that's by far one of the trickiest portion is what I feel, because I think by far the most matured actor couple I've dealt with.
Ranbir's and Alia's involvement in the film has been quite integrated again. Majorly, AYAN has been feeding them a lot of information as to what's going on and stuff. He's an amazing actor. There's no two thoughts about it. We would actually show him concepts and say, okay, Ranbir, this is what is hitting you. And then when it hits, he actually does this kind of a pose where there's 8 arms, actually multiple arms kind of open up. How this whole energy is there, how we are going to work and all. And then I think it kind of moved quite well. The very first idea was, can we have live fire? So we all went for a test shoot with Ranbir. So we had SFX teams come and then really pitch to us that we are using the cleanest of gas that's available, and let's see how this works. And then they put the fire on, and like you would expect, under a minute the whole room was filled up with smoke. That's when obviously AYAN and everyone, all of us realized that we cannot work anything with real fire on set. This is how we are going to make the film, by not putting real fire at all. The entire fire is going to be digital, and the biggest reason, of course, one is it has to be completely controllable. SHIVA'S fire is more of something to do with love. It has to be positive, so we cut out the smoke first of all. And then we said, okay, this is the fire. So much of research we had done in terms of what are those colors that actually appeal in terms of fire colors, and how the whole heat progression in a particular fire, because the core is always white and hot, and as the fire kind of rises up, the heat is reduced, because of which you start seeing the colors. So we had to like really build our entire software and the technical aspects of the digital fire in that context, blending in all these colors, and that's how we actually came up with SHIVA'S fire.
So the fire had a lot of elements, like magical elements, like it has galaxy particles and it's got like, you know, an element of magic in it.
But once we actually started getting the fire into a more controllable domain, when Shiva comes to save Isha, and the moment they kind of hug each other, there's a little burst of fire, because it is completely controlled with Shiva's emotions. The villain, the first part of Brahmastra is Mani, and she has been very, very famous as Nagin. And then that is how we came up and said, okay, let's just do like a very big snake of fire, because that particular sequence also kind of lend itself quite well, because she was coming there to scare Isha and then take away the stone. So it lended quite well. Then we ended up putting that whole animation of the snake through the fire pipeline, and then came up with this fiery snake.
Vanarastra.
So in the film, we have SRK himself coming in as a cameo, and we had to make sure that he looks grander than, larger than life, and it's his, altercation with Moni for the first time. She reveals her power, pins SRK down to get all the information out, to get that stone out of him. The moment Moni comes in and she, exhibits her evil energy, there are these twines and energy, evil energy flows towards SRK and pins him down. Every frame, was taken out of a shot, and our artists, by their hands, they actually drew what exactly is happening from the story point of view. There's a point of time in the sequence wherein there are these, evil energy tentacles which come out and grab his hand and makes him open the box so that she could probably get the stone out of it. All of that was animation, and then we used that animation to drive the effects at the end of the day. Then moving forward, she tries to extract information out of his head, and she wants to know where the ashram is. You watch the scene and you'll know that that there are these veins, SRK is completely, his veins are swollen, and all these evil energy effects, is running through his veins. And at the end of the day, we deliver what the story is all about. That's how, we made sure that, the effects worked out really great. SRK, shoots up in the sky, he breaks the ceiling, goes up in the sky. Now, SRK is one of the biggest stars in the country now. In order to make him look majestic, that he comes out with his astra, and there's an extreme wide shot of the entire, Delhi city skyline. All of that was completely created in CGI. So all these shots went through tremendous, ideation, tremendous. I wouldn't say frustrating, but lots and lots of iterations with AYAN to make sure that it's locked creatively, and that was, for me, I mean, all these big shots which I just spoke about were quite challenging. So this happens in an under construction temple. So we had to make sure that the energy which he uses to attack Ranbir and Alia, that has to have some amount of evil energy, which is the dark energy, which is red and black. Wherein Raftar, who jumps from one end to the other, jumping all around the temple. We had to create a digital version of him, and so that was another challenge. And there's Nagarjuna sir, who comes in and protects him. Even he gets hit. You really see a hint of Nandi Astra, which is his power. You see a glimpse of that come to life, and he comes in, blocks Raftar, and smashes him, you know, with a huge piece of pillar, and he goes flying out of the room. You know, there's a big explosion which takes place, you know, wherein Nagsar punches a hole in the ground of the temple. The entire temple floor collapses. All the water drains out. Completely visual effects, completely CGI, and I think it worked out really well, and we were all happy at the end of it.
So for the car chase scene, we actually shot it in Bulgaria, and of course all the close-up shots of Ranbir and Alia within the car was happening on a car rig inside the studio. Alia is almost outside the car. Body double of Alia who was there, I think she really did an amazing job, and we were all like holding our breath when we actually shot that particular scene, because if you actually carefully see in the scene, her hair actually just brushes past a stone, and that was for real. The whole car chase was supposed to be almost like a roller coaster ride. So we actually went through that whole thing and then edited it, and once this whole edit was done, then of course we had our supervisors kind of go and then shoot plates for this particular chase, and then of course it handed it over, and Viral and team actually executed the whole.
Nandi Astra.
You know, there's towards the end of it, you know, that which is the climax of this particular sequence, wherein you know they notice the bad guys are there, and and the truck charges towards Nagsar, and he, you know, for the first time, you know, the Nandi Astra, you know, he reveals the Nandi Astra in its full glory. The biggest challenge was that it was shot in broad daylight, and any effects doesn't look that great in broad daylight. So we had to make sure that we had a cloud cover, because what happens is when you shoot on location in probably the mountains, you know, the clouds keep coming in, you know, it goes in shade. So we took that as a creative liberty. The entire film had a lot of photoreal invisible effects as well, you know, wherein towards the end of it, you know, the camera pulls out to show that the truck along with Nagsar goes off the cliff edge, and that entire environment was digitally created, and that was the end of Nagsar's role in the film.
Most challenging sequence in our film has been our climax. It is a 20-minute action, visual effects, emotional story. Like, it's a movie in itself, where the storytelling is Indian, but in terms of technology, we are really pushing the bar and hoping to give them, you know, an experience that they've not had before. Brahmastra is a very original film.
And when we have actually started shooting the climax, the 20-25 minutes of climax, which of the film itself was like one of the most complex parts of the film, and like what AYAN would say, that climax was another film by itself. You know, we started pretty early on when we started it, because we knew that the amount of stunts that were required and the way that the whole thing was need to be executed. So we basically did this whole shoot in Bulgaria again. This is the time when we were also building the whole ashram in CG. It was one of the most complex sets, because it had like thousands and thousands of trees. While this was parallelly happening along with the shoot, this is where we wanted to like use this into Unreal. That gave a good sense for our actors and the DOP to kind of like really frame the shots. Climax, you would see like 100-foot fire avatar of Ranbir or Shiva itself. So we needed to like really know and how to frame these shots. And at DNEG we said this is going to be like one of the most complex, you know, parts of the film. We have built the hero digidouble of Ranbir. We have done the hero digidouble of Alia. We have done the hero digidouble of Mauni also, and the kid. So a digidouble basically starts off with a digital scanning of the actor in costume. So we had to like really do two digital versions of Ranbir, one with his white shirt and then one without, so that we can use it accordingly. Black Army, or the Dark Army kind of like really standing over there, and so all that we were actually shooting on set. It's a digital environment, including the grass, including the water and all that stuff. Shiva starts throwing lots of fire onto the Dark Army, and that basically was like an extensive setup even on shoot. So we had actually the whole automated panel of lights that we could actually track them and say, okay, when Shiva throws fire from front to like back, our entire LED panels would kind of light up in sync with that. So that became a large part of the climax, the first part of the climax. And the next part was almost when Shiva's avatar actually rises up. So that was the 100-foot fire avatar that we had to really develop. And it all started with animating the fire avatar itself. There have been like scenes where he interacts with the Black Army, he hits them like really hard, and so those are again digital characters that we had actually done with the process what I have previously mentioned. There's a section where Mauni actually starts thinking about some help that she needs in terms of water so that she can actually kill the fire. The way she kind of connects with Mahadev, there's like a big dark cloud that kind of creeps and grows behind her, and you can see Mahadev's shadow inside that. Every drop actually creates a small vapor. That was part of the setup in a Houdini setup that we had done, and you can see that as the rain kind of keeps intensifying, the fire avatar kind of loses limbs, like one big hand just falls off, then another big hand falls off, and how that whole thing we designed it more like lava. It's not like just straight fire, because fire by itself won't have weight, so it falls and then it kind of spills towards Junoon and stuff like that. So that became another big development piece in terms of just the destruction of the fire avatar, where the Brahmastra energy actually is alive. It kicks into the cosmos, and then we had a couple of scenes where the energy actually reaches the cosmos, and from there when it actually comes back and then hits the ground, from the destruction starts, that becomes extremely complex. They were going to be like this earth shattering, and then everything was like breaking apart, and how do we get this? So what we had done was we actually created a rig on springs, a huge rig on springs with two parts of the stage kind of connected with forklifts. When you see in the shot where Guruji is trying to like reach out for like Ranbir, and then we knew that the whole ground was parting off, we had forklifts kind of moving both of them on opposite sides, and because of that movement it would actually give them a little bit of a shaking kind of a feel. And then so what you are basically seeing on screen, they were actually reacting to a real tremor. So that actually was quite hard even for the actors.
What we can all expect out of Brahmastra 2 would be definitely like a 10x more richer experience than what we all saw in Brahmastra 1. Now that we've all learned from this enriching experience of creating magic on screen, it'll be way more complex. I think audiences will have a spectacle of life, and this will be by far the biggest, far more bigger than what we've delivered in Brahmastra 1.
I think we are going to like see much more of what we have seen, and plus a lot more, I would say.
He's got around close to 170 astras, so whatever we saw in the first part was the number, and now he still has those many astras, those many characters, those many. If you ask me about Mahadev, like we can't really reveal much about it, because even in the first part, when SRK was doing a cameo, we were tight-lipped, we couldn't talk about it. It's a big, I mean, these things are epic moments of any film, and there's no fun in revealing a lot more, but I mean, at the end of the day, AYAN would be the best person.
Thank you for watching us on India's VFX revolution. Please like, share and subscribe to IGN India.